So today we're going to be performing a capsize and self-rescue. And what that means is we are going to take care of getting water out of the boat and getting the boat back upright and getting ourselves back in the boat. Now keep in mind that this procedure is going to work a little bit better on a lake than it will on a river. It's because you have the current, the flow of water, and you're going to be fighting that as you're trying to get yourself, get the boat back upright, get the water out of the boat, and then of course getting back in the boat. Okay, and on rental canoes, oftentimes you're not going to have a loop attached to the ends of your canoe. So when you don't have that, you're going to need to double up on Prusik. And I have Prusik loop here. I'll show you. And what these are, and I keep this in my PFD. And what these are is a piece of rope. It's nothing more than a piece of rope that is attached. It's stitched together and bound by this plastic tubing, this wrap, shrunk wrap under. And how this works is you take your loop and you're going to run it through like this, then you're going to pull this through like that. Now this is going to be your step. So when your rope is like this, you're in the water, your foot's going to go through here, and you're got one foot in here, and you're going to mount up much in the same way you'd mount a horse. And that's pretty much it. Now if you don't have this loop, as I said, with a rental canoe or that sort of thing, you're going to have maybe two Prusiks to go, from, usually there's a handle on the rental boats, and you're going to come up from here, and then maybe you'll go off this side like this, because this one obviously won't reach very far, as you can see. So you may want to just carry two if you're renting canoes. And again, I keep this in my PFD. I know what pocket it's in, and it's handy if something should ever happen. Doesn't take up very much room either. Another thing I wanted to mention if it's your own canoe, it's much easier because you could mount it the way you want it, where you'd want it, is a bilge pump. Now I've simply used a hook and loop system to mount my bilge pump in the back, in the stern, and also in the bow, for the bow pedal. And basically, they have a float, so in case you lose them in the water, these things float. But when you have water in your canoe, you just simply hood it down and just pump like this, and the water goes, obviously flying out of your canoe. This is a very handy tool. It'll save you sometimes from having to go ashore and empty your canoe out that way. Another thing, once you get the bulk done, now that tool won't get every bit of water out, but it'll get the bulk of it out. When you have a little water left in your canoe and you want to get it all the way out, you'll want a sponge. Now, I'll mention that these natural sponges, while a little bit more pricey, are definitely better at taking the water out than is a synthetic sponge that you get at the department store. So, with that being said, I think we're ready to roll.
So we've got a boat that's swamped here, it's full of water, and we need to get the water out. First thing we're going to do, you'll see us, we're going to take our paddles and we're going to shove those underneath the seats at each end. And that's just to keep, hopefully keep the paddles in the boat when we do this maneuver. So you'll see us roll this canoe. We're going to grab one handle beyond one of the thwarts, and we're going to grab the gunnel there that's in the water, and we're going to roll that water out of there and flip it up on its top. Now you'll notice we're facing one another as we get underneath here, and you'll have to face one another. Now one hand is going to be on the pivot side. Your one hand is going to be on a thwart. The other hand, opposite, is going to be the flip side, the side that goes up in the air, and that's going to be on the gunnel. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break the seal here. You can see our hands will come up, and we're going to break the seal so that we get some air underneath this thing. And as we count to three, on three, we're going to flip. As we flip, our feet are going to kick like we're swimming, and it's going to propel us upward as we hoist this thing up and over. And there it goes. So now that we've got the boat upright, we can go to the ends of the canoe, and we can get our Prusik ropes out of our PFDs, and we can start our reentry process. Now you'll notice my paddle fell out of the boat, and be mindful that that can happen. You don't want to see your paddle go down the river, or float away. So now we can begin our reentry process, and you'll see that I am on the opposite end of the boat, holding onto that boat, putting my weight on it for her when she reenters. Now she's got her Prusik rope out, and she's looped it through the tow rope of the canoe, and she's going to step in there with a stirrup and pull herself up on the gunnel. All right. And then she's back in the boat, and that's under 30 seconds. That's really good. So now I'm going to be pulling my Prusik out and getting it strapped on. Now, when she's in the boat, that provides me the counterbalance or the counterweight when I enter the boat, when I get to pull myself up. So it works both ways. Now you see that loop how I did that. I put it through the tow rope of the canoe, and I pulled the loop through itself, and that's all there is to it. There's no fancy knot involved there at all. It's very quick. So I put my foot in that loop there, and I'm going to pull myself up. So take me a couple seconds, but I will get up on that gunnel there, and then once I do, you can see that loop is right at the end of your shoe. Now, most of the time that'll fall off, but if it doesn't, it's not a big deal because there's enough there. It's not gonna trip you up or anything. I just unhooked it from my river shoe there. I'm back in the boat, and we are good to go. Now, this is just an alternative method to re-entering a canoe. There, of course, are other methods, that climbing over the side of the gunnel. I just didn't find that to be as stable as I preferred, and it's pretty difficult as well. You don't have anything, only your arms pulling you in. So this way with the stirrup, I think, adds a lot of assistance, and it's worked very well for me.